Hi guys, it's Amanda from Let's Sew. This is the video about the darts, so I'm just going to show you how to do a dart and tailor tacks. So when you have a pattern piece and it's got a dart, it's usually where the item that you're sewing needs shaping and needs some reduction in fabric. Now typically you get them on tops in the bust seam, where the seam needs shaping, or like this one. If you have a look here, these two lines that are pointing up towards the top, these straight lines up here, not these ones here, these ones here. These are telling you that it needs shaping in where the bust is, okay? So that's a dart. I'll show you how to do those. And also on trousers where they need shaping in, or skirts even, where they need shaping in on the waist, or excuse my dogs, like this at the back, sometimes at the front as well, like so. They can also be required on like straight skirts, pencil skirts, trousers, shorts, also any kind of fabric, any kind of item that needs shaping to fit where the curves are on your body. So your pattern piece will have, I've got the pattern piece here, and it will have like a triangle shape. It'll have a point like an arrow here at the edge, and then you'll see all these different lines which are for the sizes. So you need to go with the size that you're making, and on each size, at each side, there will either be a tailor's tack or a mark. Now a tailor's tack is a little circle marking where it needs to be, and it's just a construction mark. I'll show you how to do tailor's tacks in a second. And then you follow, so on this one, let's say this one, this is a size 20 line. We'll do it on this one because this is the biggest. So your 20 line starts here. So you would need to mark on your fabric down to the tailor's tack, which will be here, this point here, that says 20 there as well. And then the other line that corresponds with the opposite side of this is here, and this is the 20 line. So you'd mark down here and you'd join at the point here. So to do that, what I normally do is cut here, which I have, that's your seam edge, or your edge of your fabric. So I've cut the V out, if you can see there, or the arrow. I usually then pop a pin directly through where the tailor's tack is showing it needs to be, and the same on the other tailor's tack, on the other tailor's tack mark, should I say. And then the very end one at the bottom, where it's telling you you need a tailor's tack, usually do one down there as well. This is where these pins with the plastic or glass heads come in handy. If I was going to recommend anything to you regarding pins with a coloured top, I would say to get glass-headed pins, because if you need to iron anything and you catch the plastic ones with your iron, your top of your pin melts and it can damage your fabric. Okay, so you pop the pin directly in the middle of the marking where the tailor's tack needs to be, straight through, like so. So that's your circle there, and that's your circle there. Just push them so that there's hanging out of the back, like so. Then lay your fabric flat, and with a tailor's chalk or your marker, just make a mark on top of where your pin sits. I'll show you a bit close up in a second. So you mark your fabric like so. Where am I? There we go. You see that? So where the pin is here, there's a little pink mark here, and the same on this one, you can see, just there. Then do the bottom one just the same. Lift your pattern up and chalk onto where your, where have you gone? Tailor's tack wants to be here, okay? And then you can quite safely take out the pins all of them. And take your pattern piece off. Put that to one side. And you'll have the marks at the top, here, at either side, and at the bottom. So this is the start. The very top is the edge of your fabric, the top of the dart, and the V, or the arrow. And then the bottom of the dart is the bottom tailor tack here. So then what I do is, once you've been doing this a while, you won't need to draw these. But as a beginner, this is what you need to do. You need to line the first dot up with the end dot and draw a line. Like so. Like that. This is on the wrong side of your fabric. The other dot from the other edge to meet the bottom mark. So you're drawing like a long triangle. Okay? Like so. So this is the start of your one side, this is the start of the other side, and your bottom is here, and the middle is usually this point that's cut to a V there. Now, what that's showing you is this fabric in between these marks needs to come out. But rather than cut the fabric, we're going to sew and include it in the middle. So, you need to be sewing on the inside or the wrong side of your fabric. So the best thing to do is, on this point here, nip this at the top and then nip the point where it finishes at the bottom. Pick your fabric up and lay it down, and then put your pin through the top pin where the line is, where you've just drawn. See if it meets the other side. It's a fraction out. So move your top line, or move it so that it fits and matches up. Just have to move it a couple of times maybe. Is that in? So that your pin goes through the line on the back and the line on the front there in the same place, and then pin that like so. Okay, and do that all the way down. So you want your point at the bottom. You mark a pin across. I usually pin across like that, and then the same on this further up. Pin through one side. It's gone through the mark on that side and the mark on that side, and pin that. Okay, ouch. And then don't stick yourself with the pin. What you would do is take this to the sewing machine and sew. Always start at the very top, and then you sew slowly, just sew straight down on top of the line down here until you get to your bottom pin here. Now, rather than, I don't know if you can actually see that very clearly, the line, it's a bit of a pale colour. Let me have a look. I'll do it a little bit darker. I'll do it without the ruler. I'll just make a mark. Just bear with me, just pretend it's straight. It is straight, but just pretend it is. I'm not using the ruler because of the pins at the minute. So, you go straight down the line, oh, that way, sorry, from the top down the line to the bottom. When you get to the bottom, you must sew off the fabric. Don't do a back stitch here to fasten your stitching off. So you would take your pin out and sew a couple of stitches down past the end of it, but down the actual, so that's the end here of your dart marking. Just go right on the edge and sew down here a couple of stitches. So I will do that, and on the next video I'll show you what I mean. If you do that and you sew off the end, what you need to do then is tie a couple of knots in your threads and then cut the excess off. The reason being, when you press that, you won't get a pleat or a lump here where it's going to sit on your bust area. If you sew straight down and come off exactly where the end of the dart is, you end up with a little crease, if you like, a bit like that. So if you see this bit here, it goes a little bit like this here. Whereas if you sew slightly off the edge, you'll get a straighter edging and a straighter dart, okay? So I will do that and I will show you that. But before I do that, then when you've done it, sorry, you need to press it. Now, if you're pressing darts on the bust area, you press them downwards. If you're pressing darts like on the top of a skirt or on the bottom area on trousers, you need to press trousers. You tend to press them to the middle, and anything on the back, anything on the front, you tend to press to the side. I press everything to the side because it reduces the bulk across the middle, which is where most people hold more weight. So you don't want to add bulk unnecessarily. So I tend to press them all to the side, apart from darts on a top, which should press downwards. Okay. I'm going to show you how to do a tailor's tack, because I've got everything lined up here. And then I'll sew the dart for you, and then I'll upload that video separately, because this machine, this phone that I'm actually recording on won't let me pause. So, as I said to you before, where am I? Here, I want to be this way a little bit. The tailor's tack is indicated by a circle, okay? Like this. Right, so let's pretend we've got this pinned on our fabric, okay? And where the dot is, you need a needle, a sewing needle, hand sewing needle, and you need it a different colour thread, bright thread that you can see easily, and you need it double thickness. So you just thread, where's my camera? You thread through, and rather than have one piece longer than the other, you need them both the same length. That's classed as double thickness, okay? Don't tie a knot in it. It doesn't need any knots in it, okay? Right, so we'll pretend this is pinned on the fabric, okay? You start at one side of the dot, right, and you go to the other side of the dot through all your layers. Pull your needle through, okay? Don't pull it right to the very end. Leave yourself a good length of thread, like so. Alright, and then you go through the same place, same hole, do another one, same holes, leave another layer of thread, so you've got a loop here. Don't pull that loop tight, and then do it again. This is the third time we've gone through the fabric, and pull through. Now don't pull your loop. Cut off your needle, pop that to one side. Now the loops you've made, just put your scissors in, gently pull it up, put your finger on where it's come through, and snip to release the loop, or to cut the loop, should I say. Put your finger on the bottom so you don't pull it out, and snip. Okay. Now what that's done is give you a load of tails like so. Now from there you can take off your pattern piece because you've cut the loops, so it's not going to get stuck. Okay, so you've now got this thread that goes through the top of one side of the fabric through to the bottom of the other side of the fabric. Now obviously one needs to separate these, but so that you get the knot in exactly the same place, or the tailor's tack in exactly the same place on both sides when you're sewing, and makes it easier to match up, we need to leave part of the tailor's tack on this side and part on this side. So the easiest way to do that, and why we left the long tails, is to pull the fabric gently apart like so. So now we can see the right sides of the fabric. And you see the tailor's tacks there. And then in the middle, where are we? I've lost my camera, here we go. in the middle, snip. So then now on both sides of your fabric, here and here, you've got a mark. And on the other side of your fabric, here, again it's not a good thread choice that, and here, whoop, there we go. God, I've got wobbly hands today. Here and here, you've got more threads. So then if you have to then sew these together, you can match the tailor's tacks exactly. You can sew straight over the top of them with your sewing machine. And then all you need to do when you've sewn what you need to sew is just get hold of the ends and pull them out. Like so. I've seen people do them with one strand of thread, and if you lose the thread, then you've lost the thread and you've got to redo all the markings again. That's come out cleanly, there's no mark, you can't see where it's been, and both sides will be stitched together in exactly the right place. And there's your bits of cotton that are left, they can just go in the bin. So that's how you do a tailor's tack. So just for to refresh your mind, where the hole is on your, I'll use this, but I will only use this singly, show you the difference. Where the dot is on your fabric, you would go through the hole there, on your pattern, sorry, you'd go through the hole once, go through the hole again, and leave a loop and go through the hole again. Then you would cut off the fabric, the thread from your needle, okay? Go through with your scissors, snip the loop like so. So you've got on here, obviously I've only got one single layer of thread, but you would have double thread, so you'd have double the amount of thread tails. You've got one on this side of this fabric, and you've got where it's gone through on this side here of the fabric. So then you separate gently, where are you? There, you can see it here. Pull it apart a little bit. I won't go too far because my thread's not that long at the moment. Just use the last little bit up. So you pull apart like so, put your scissors in and snip them apart, and then you've got both pieces of your fabric marked in exactly the right position. Now how easy is that? There's nothing to be frightened of with tailor's tacks. Okay, so that's it for this bit. I will put another part on showing you how to sew the dart, how to press the dart, and then we'll take it from there to the next video. Okay, my lovelies, so thanks for joining me. My name's Amanda, this is Let's Sew. Please join me next time, subscribe if you haven't already, and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. If you want to see any demonstrations, please put it in the comments box below, and I will do my best to answer as accurately as I can. In the meantime, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.